When Cher was announced as the headliner guest on Jimmy Kimmel Live, fans were ecstatic. The goddess of pop, a living legend, an icon who has defied eras, trends, and expectations, was expected to deliver nothing less than charisma, sharp wit, and legendary tales. She walked onto that stage in a stunning black sequined blazer, with her signature long hair flowing and her strut as confident as ever. The crowd went wild. Jimmy greeted her warmly, and at first, everything was exactly as expected light. Funny banter about her upcoming Vegas residency, her legacy, and her latest single. But underneath the glitter and smiles, there was a tension brewing. Somewhere, between laughter and applause, the energy started shifting. What began as a celebratory chat began veering into unfamiliar territory when Kimmel asked a question that, by many accounts, didn't just miss the mark, it shattered the mood. He brought up her political tweets. Something Cher has never shied away from, but did it in a way that seemed more mocking than curious. With a smirk, he asked, "So Cher, when you're not reinventing pop music, do you just scroll Twitter looking for a fight?" The audience chuckled, but Cher's smile faded, just slightly. She replied, "I use my platform to speak about what matters. Always have." Kimmel, pushing the joke further, added, "But don't you ever get tired of playing keyboard warrior? People kind of expect divas to be less political and more fabulous." That's when the air shifted. Cher turned her body slightly toward him, the smile now completely gone. "You think I stopped being fabulous because I care about what's happening to the world?" she asked, voice cool but cutting. The audience gave a collective "oh" as Kimmel leaned back, half laughing, half realizing he might have poked the wrong bear. Trying to recover, Jimmy said, No, just mean you've got such a massive fan base, and sometimes your tweets are ... intense." Cher nodded slowly. "You think truth is intense? Maybe that's the problem?" She glanced out at the audience, who had grown noticeably quiet. "Maybe people like you want women like me to stay in glitter and feathers, not opinions and fire." The tension rose. Kimmel's expression stiffened. "I didn't mean to offend you, Cher. I was joking." But Cher was already leaning forward. "Jimmy, maybe your jokes aren't always funny. Maybe sometimes they just show us where you really stand." The audience gave an uneasy laugh, unsure of whose side to take. The charm and flirtation of earlier had been completely replaced by a fierce energy that even the camera operators couldn't quite hide. Jimmy smiled awkwardly, clearly trying to pivot, but Cher wasn't finished. I've had people mock me my whole life," she said, voice rising but never losing control. "They said I couldn't sing. Then I won a Grammy. Said I couldn't act. Then I won an Oscar. Said I was too old and I sold out stadiums. So if you think I care what late-night hosts think of my tweets, you're dead wrong." The audience burst into applause, but not everyone was clapping. Kimmel, now visibly flustered, attempted to steer things back to the safer waters of celebrity anecdotes. He asked about a funny moment on stage during her last tour, hoping to reset the mood. But Cher simply folded her arms and said, "I think we're done, Jimmy." There was a beat of silence. Jimmy blinked. "Tour leaving?" She stood up, removed her mic, and turned to the audience. "I came here to celebrate my work, not defend my voice." And with that, she walked off the set, heels clicking against the stage floor like a gavel. What followed was confusion, scrambling, and chaos backstage. Producers rushed after her, desperately trying to convince her to stay, offering to cut the segment or even reshoot it entirely. But Cher had made up her mind. One insider said she told the team, "I don't need this. I've survived decades of worse than a late-night insult." Meanwhile, Jimmy was left alone at the desk, forced to deliver an impromptu joke to fill the silence. "Well, folks, I guess even Cher's had enough of me." The audience gave a nervous laugh, but the damage was done. The rest of the show carried on, but viewers could tell something seismic had happened. Within an hour, Twitter exploded. Clips of the walk-off went viral. Hashtag Cher walks off and hashtag Kimmelgate began trending. Thousands praised her for standing her ground. Others debated whether Jimmy had simply made a poor attempt at humor. But no one could deny the moment had become a cultural lightning bolt. Asterisk, the media frenzy was immediate. Headlines screamed everything from Cher storms off late night to Cher clashes with Kimmel over free speech. News outlets played the clip on repeat, with experts weighing in on late-night culture, celebrity politics, and the blurred lines between comedy and disrespect. Kimmel's camp issued a lukewarm statement the next morning saying, "Jimmy deeply respects Cher and regrets if any comments were taken the wrong way." Cher, on the other hand, posted a single tweet with no hashtags. "I said what I said." It was retweeted hundreds of thousands of times. Celebrities jumped in. Betty Midler, Deborah Messing, and even younger stars like Lizzo and Halsey tweeted in support. Fans applauded her refusal to sit through what they called thinly veiled ridicule. Cher, who has never once needed approval to be powerful, became a trending force once again, for her music but for her unshakable voice. Asterisk, in the days that followed, ticket sales for her Vegas residency surged. Interviews she had previously scheduled with other outlets were canceled quietly, and many began speculating that Cher was done with talk shows for good. But insiders claimed she was simply drawing boundaries. One source close to her team said, "Cher's not mad, she's just over it. She doesn't do fake." Meanwhile, Jimmy's team faced a storm of criticism. Critics said it was another example of late-night shows treating female icons as punchlines, especially when they step outside the lines of what's expected. Cher, for her part, went on as if nothing happened. She posted clips of rehearsals, teased new music, and interacted with fans like usual. If she was affected by the Showdown, she didn't let it show. That's always been Cher's secret power: resilience wrapped in rhinestones. Strength behind the style. Asterisk, the debate continued, though long after the cameras had stopped rolling. Talk show analysts, pop culture commentators, and feminist writers dove into the incident, examining it as a case study of generational tension, gender dynamics, and media boundaries. Was Cher too confrontational, or was Kimmel too dismissive? Was it a clash of egos, or a symptom of a larger cultural problem? No one had definitive answers, but everyone had an opinion. Even SNL spoofed it in their weekend update with a sketch that had an exaggerated Cher tossing cue cards at a nervous Kimmel. The moment had transcended the show, became legend. And whether you loved or hated what went down, one truth was undeniable. Cher walked off that stage with her head held high, unapologetic and unafraid, proving once again that time, fame, or format don't change who she is. She's not just a guest, she's a force. Asterisk, and that force didn't just shake one stage, it echoed through the culture. Because in a world that still tries to tame bold women with condescension wrapped in laughter, Cher reminded us that silence isn't gold nights, just another form of surrender. She didn't surrender. She stood up, spoke out, and walked away, reminding everyone that legends aren't built on applause alone. They're built on moments where they refuse to be diminished.
Oh.
Jimmy Kimmel may have expected a charming, easy segment, but what he got was a lesson, a moment, a reckoning. Because when Cher decides something isn't right, she doesn't whisper, she walks. And when she walks, the world pays attention.